Hello everyone, I'm Ollie, one of the marketing and CRM consultants here at HubGem. We specialize in HubSpot implementation for the education sector, and in this series I'm going to be outlining the AI features that HubSpot CRM offers and of course how to use them. So for this session we're going to have a look at the beta feature called Content Remix. Now we're going to do a separate video on some of the more sort of broader elements of what this tool can do, but today I want to focus on a bit of a shorter video really around how you can take what is possibly your longest form written content, blogs, and make that into various different social posts. The content remix tool is really powerful in doing this. Essentially the principle here is take some existing content and repurpose it and turn it into content for other channels. Now social posts can be one of those things that at times it can be a little bit difficult to actually sort of think about, on a potentially daily basis. What content are we going to put out there that's really got some relevance to our audience? And of course, a blog post takes a lot of time to complete and is quite dense in terms of its text. So there's a lot of different chunks you could pull out of a blog and actually utilize for many different social posts. Using this tool, we don't even have to do that work ourselves. So let's jump into the Remix tool and show you exactly how to do that. So I'm inside of Content Remix. Again, in a separate video, we'll go over some more of the sort of functionality and go through all the different options you have on this screen. So look out for that one. What I'm going to do is just go ahead straight into starting a remix. What it will ask us to do is go ahead and actually add some content. So what is the piece of content? In this case, what is the blog article that I want to use as my starting point to then remix into the social posts? So I'm going to go ahead and hit add content. Again, we'll go over some of these in a different video, but what we're going to focus on today is turning sort of a dense body of text into our social posts. So we'll go on web pages and text. Content type, as you can see, is already on blog posts, which is what we want. And then we can go ahead and just drop down into the particular blog post that we want to. So whichever one it is, you can just select it from the drop down there. You do have some additional options for starting from new and uploading and URLs and things, but that is one of our HubSpot blogs that we are going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and add that content. What it essentially does is pulls that blog post into the tool here. So this would be all of the sort of text that was included in that particular blog post. What you can do is actually go ahead and view all of your content. So once we do start to build out essentially what is quite a big branch here of all of the different content, you can very quickly jump back to this blog post just to kind of make sure it was the right one, perhaps. What we've also got under these sort of three dots here is the ability to also change that as well. So if we did want to go ahead and remix something else as part of this particular remix we're doing, again, you've got the option. But that's the blog post I wanted to do. When I click on it, I can see sort of the first sort of paragraph, if you like, of what that content actually did include as well. But the whole point of this is actually to take this body of text and turn this into what is hopefully quite a few relevant and engaging social posts. So what I'm going to do is hit the plus. This is then just pulling up the menu to define, okay, what type of content are we actually remixing a blog into? Again, we'll go through sort of some of these options in a separate video. You've got quite a lot, of course, here. What we want to do is go ahead and choose the social. And then we want to sort of go up to the maximum of 6 social posts or 6 different sort of types of posts that we want to create here. So we'll go ahead and hit next. What that will do is ask you just to sort of log in, to which sort of networks do you actually want this to be posted to. So are we doing sort of LinkedIn, Facebook, a bit of X maybe as well? Are we doing one particular sort of social network? So you can select from your accounts at the top. You don't have to do this, but you can also include additional instructions at this point for the AI in terms of what you want to take from the blog post. What do you want sort of the themes to be here? You can include AI generated images for your social posts as well. So let's go ahead and tick that. What it will also do, as it describes below, like we've seen in the past with some of these AI tools, is that brand voice will be applied to the social post here as well. So you will still get those sort of prerequisites that we've selected way back in our first video now in the settings for the AI. That will also be applied here. Again, we can do this for sort of each one of these. So maybe we don't want some of the AI imagery for some of those. We'll tick maybe another one. And again, for each of these 6 posts that we've outlined that we want, we can actually, for each one, give some additional instructions here. Once we're happy with all of those, we can go ahead and just simply hit the generate button. Our tree will then branch out to our 6 social posts. And as you can see, each one sort of has a loading bar for its sort of progress here as well. The ones that are taking longer in this case are going to be the ones that we ticked for those AI generated images. But just from the outset, as you can see, what it has done is used, emojis here. We've got the rocket, we've got the star. So it does use some of those engaging sort of elements. Again, it's used it sort of as part of a nice title on our 5th post here as well. And what we can do is actually click into each of these to see sort of the full generation that sort of happened here. So this is our first one. As you can see, use of emojis. It's also using hashtags as well. Again, basing the hashtags off the blog post content here. And you can just sort of get full visibility over exactly what is generated. But of course, there will be situations where you want to go ahead and change some of these. So you can go ahead and save it and then go straight through to the social tool to edit that in that section of HubSpot as well. Of course, if you don't like it and it's totally sort of irrelevant to you for this particular one as well, you've got the sort of bin icon here just to go ahead and just delete that version. What we'll then do is have a look at the second one. Again, as you can see there, we've got sort of different emojis being used, hashtags in there as well. So again, if we're happy with that, then great. We can sort of go back on that. And just like I sort of showed at the start of the when we got to this screen, the all content section now, of course, is sort of built out with the different elements of that branch that we've got. So you can quickly sort of jump between any of your different elements here as well. Again, if we go into the third one, you can see it's sort of used a slightly different structure for this one. Because the blog post, of course, is in this case just a bit of an example, the content is very similar. But of course, depending on the instructions that you might have given this particular sort of social post as well, of course, the more detailed you get with those, the better the results will be, or the more you'll sort of, the results will be what you expect. Again here, different emojis, no paragraphs in this one, so it does sort of play around a little bit with formatting and so on. We won't go through sort of each one. Again, we've got sort of the 3 dots here as well, where we can actually ask it to regenerate a particular post. Of course, we can delete from this point as well. But if we go ahead and click on regenerate, it will just simply do the same thing it did in the first instance, and it will go ahead and just come up with something a little bit different. As you can see, that is now sort of a different social post than what it was. Again, we've got some different emojis here, and it has actually given us some different hashtags as well. So it's potentially worth playing around with this, regenerating a few different times. What you can do in the top right here is copy it to your clipboard. So if it comes up with sort of the first version of this, copy that to your clipboard. Let's maybe do a few sort of revisions of that, and then you've kind of got your kind of the best one saved to your clipboard that you could then just copy and paste back into the social tool to use that as well. Worth mentioning, of course, the branches sort of don't end there. We could branch off and create even more social posts off the back of these social posts that we've just created as well. The content at that point does get sort of very, very similar. Because of course it has a much smaller sort of set of words to actually draw from with the social post. But if we wanted to create even more social content off the back of this, we've got the plus icon for each of our social posts again. So of course we could go back down to social. Maybe we only want to generate sort of a further 2 from this one because we know the content is a little limited now. We'll hit next again. Same deal that we sort of just went through with the sort of selecting which network you want to post to, as well as of course giving a description if you want to as well. And of course we can then hit generate. Our sort of tree branches out further, and then we've now got 2 social posts that are now actually being regenerated based on the social post above. So these new 2 social posts here are not drawing from the original blog. They are drawing from the social post that drew from the blog. So the content, of course, will still be very similar, but we are now sort of, as you can see, creating very sort of similar results because there is, of course, less text to actually go on here. And again, as you can see, the plus icons are still beneath these 2, so we could go ahead and do even more social posts off the back of that. So that's a very quick rundown of how you can use what is probably your most dense text sort of marketing content in your blog posts and actually help you generate what can be sometimes some of the sort of harder posts to actually sort of come up with ideas for, because social is so short form and because of course you have to sort of keep pumping out that content to be relevant, and of course using hashtags and emojis and create your post in a way that is engaging. I thought this would be a great example to add to this stage of our video series. So there you go, that is all for this video. I hope you found it useful and informative. Like I said, we will be revisiting the Remix tool in its entirety in a future video. But if you do want to learn more about HubSpot or how we can help you with your implementation within the education space, the links that you will need will either be on this post or in the description. Bye for now.